Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz from the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. It is right now 9 o'clock Friday morning, March 26th. We have a nice amount to cover, so we'll get started right away, and maybe I'll show you some screenshots, maybe I won't, we'll see. The big news this week was Bing related. Microsoft Bing, their search engine. They have updated their user interface and made some improvements. Overall, what they did was they tried to make their user interface and search results more quick to give you direct answers and useful information to help you, I guess, with your decision. Obviously, their slogan is they're a decision engine, not a search engine, so that's their avenue they're going. Part of that was to give more celebrity and sport answers. They also do a lot of cool auto, car types of filtering based on the new image search types of features. They improved their Windows mobile for Windows 7. They added, which is cool, Bing Maps. To Bing Maps, they added Foursquare results, which is nice to see, who's checking in certain locations. And we show some examples of how that works and what changes they've done. But they made this announcement at SES yesterday morning, and they have some more information. We have a blog post with more links to what exactly happened on March 26th at seroundtable.com. On the SEO front, which was Google, interesting because some people are reporting that when you click on the cache link in Google, the link under the search result that says cache, instead of it going to an IP address, which it usually does, it usually goes to a data center at Google, which is located by IP. Now people are seeing webcache.googleusercontent.com instead of an IP. So if you go to webcache.googleusercontent.com, it actually will load the Google homepage. But if you go to the search results, some people will see webcache.googleusercontent.com when they mouse over the cache link or click on the cache link. That domain actually resolves to a Google IP address, and is also the whois. The whois information is actually owned by Google, so obviously Google's doing something with this URL, and maybe they want to mask their IPs for the cache results. There was a bug. Obviously, everybody knows what's going on with China. Google announced that they're moving over. Anybody who goes to Google.cn will be redirected to Google Hong Kong. That's because they decided to no longer filter the search results over at Google. And sorry, there's a distraction over there. And basically, that means that if you're in China and you go to Google.com, you will be directed to Google Hong Kong, so that you get non-filtered results. Obviously, there's a lot of political stuff going on with that, diplomatic results. But there was a bug where people going to Google Hong Kong from China, when they clicked on Google in English only, or they clicked on Google, or they went to google.com/NCR, which is basically the same thing as Google in English, they were still being redirected to Google Hong Kong. Google confirmed that this is a bug on March 26th or March 25th, and they're hoping to fix that soon. There's more information about this at seroundtable.com on March 26th. We haven't posted about it. Also, it was pretty interesting. Remember last week we reported that Google in Webmaster Tools was resolving the Webmaster Tools in different languages than the person was used to. So if I went there, I'm an English-based user, I'm in the U.S., but it was showing me, let's say, the page in Spanish or some other language. Google never replied to that. A lot of people reported it. Google never replied. Then people started reporting about it on Picasa, reporting about it on Google News, reporting about the same exact language types of issues on even Google's corporate website. One of the Guardian blogs picked it up. They noticed that the Google corporate page, which had the bios of the corporate users, was coming up in Chinese. They thought that the Chinese government or somebody in China hacked Google and made that happen. The reality was it was a bug, and the bug, again, was first reported a week ago today, actually, in Webmaster Tools, saying this is an issue. Nobody really replied to it, and it's still going on today. And hopefully it'll be resolved soon, but it's still an issue, and people are having problems with going to content on Google and being shown the wrong language. Let's talk about AdWords. Big thing they announced this week was what they called Google AdWords search funnels. Basically, this allows users or advertisers to see not just the keywords that convert. Let's say you search for an advertiser bids on a keyword, and the searcher searches for that keyword. For example, they search for iPhone, and then the person comes to your website and buys the iPhone from your website. That would be considered a conversion, and that keyword would be associated with that conversion. But what if they were doing research beforehand? Let's say they were searching for, I don't know, Android. They went to your website, they looked at the Android phone, and ultimately decided not to buy the Android, but they went on and bought the iPhone from your website because they found your website to be very important. Google will then say, all right, these keywords that led to that conversion, but was not the ultimate conversion keyword, but led to it, were actually assisted in those keywords. They're actually going to show you reports based on assisted conversions from different keywords. So now you can actually see over the course of 30 days which keywords led to a conversion, but ultimately were not the actual final keyword to lead to conversion, but they're assisted to those previous keywords for the conversion. So it's nice to say, for example, let's say I search a camera, I narrow it down, I go to your website, and I ultimately narrow it down that I want to buy a Canon SD whatever. Then I go a few days later, I come back to Google, I search for the actual model number, I go to your website and ultimately buy it. That keyword camera, which I initially searched for, will be assisted keyword, an assisted conversion towards the ultimate conversion of the model number that I searched for. So that's pretty useful, obviously. Some speculation about search partners, such as, let's say, Dell, for example, that have a customized Google homepage, and that homepage is set by default to Dell, which is then monetized by Google, which then shares the revenue with Dell. There's speculation from Webmaster World that Google is going to change their policy on how search partners are allowed to change the user's default user settings, default homepage, and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure, it's a little fuzzy, so if you are a search partner, you might want to look more into this. There was some speculation about this at Webmaster World regarding some type of investor call that happened recently. So if you are interested about this, go to March 26th at SEOroundtable.com. Also on the AdWords side, there was a big win by Google over the EU, in the European Union. A European Union Justice Court said that they ruled in favor of Google that they did not violate trademark law over the, I think, Louis Vuitton lawsuit. So Google initially lost in the EU against Louis Vuitton for violating trademark law when they allowed advertisers to bid on the Louis Vuitton trademark. Google appealed it, and they won in the European Justice Court. And they basically said that Google did not infringe on trademark law. Also, they are protected by the Internet Hosting Service protection, that they cannot be sued for stuff like that. So that's a big win for Google and advertisers in the EU. Google Maps has expanded a nice little feature which allows, I guess, home-based businesses to go beyond their current home address. So, for example, you're a plumber, you don't have an office, but you do plumbing work for certain areas. You don't want to necessarily list your business address as your home address, but you want to tell Google that you do operate in certain areas. So Google is now allowing business owners to specify service areas and location settings, which basically asks, and I'll quote it for you, does your business provide services such as delivery or home repair to locations in certain areas? If you say yes, then it asks you the distance from your current location in miles, or list the specific service areas that you do service. And that allows, obviously, Google Maps users to actually go beyond their current location, which is not always accurate in terms of the service areas they provide services for. Also, Google Maps is testing special ads from hotels which include prices. So if you do a search for hotels in New York, up will come, this is not available to everybody, but up will come for some people, not just the listings in the hotels in New York, but also ads from advertisers who show various pricing for hotels in New York, such as Priceline, Expedia, and stuff like that. It's currently a limited test, so we'll see how that goes. We ran a poll earlier this week, or a couple weeks ago, asking how do SEOs use the search operator, search operators like advanced search operators linked to site command, different types of keywords, to figure out linking opportunities, to figure out who they should get links from. And we had a poll, and we had about 80 responses, and it was all over the board. And the answers were 26% said they use it often, 23% said they use it rarely, 22% said they use it all the time, 60% said they never use it, and 50% use it here and there. 13% said they use it 50% of the time or not. So that's a poll. really doesn't tell us anything, to be honest. This week we had SES New York. I was there live blogging along with a bunch of other volunteers: Shira Goldenthal from Pro Media Corp, Brian Ussery from Busery Bog, Andy Cushing from Pied Piper Interactive, Avi Walensky from Pro Media, Marty Weinberg from Aim Clear, and Chris Boggs from Rosetta. We did about 40 or so sessions. It was pretty jam-packed in terms of the number of sessions we covered. They're all available on their blog over the course of the past week, so if you want to, just go to the archive section, scroll down to the category which says SES Search Engine Strategies New York 2010, and you should be able to find all our live coverage if you missed it. Again, thanks for everybody for reading and for all the live bloggers who volunteered to do it. Google this week had 2 special logos. None of them were Google.com, but there was a Google Doodle for Akira Kurosawa, or something like that. He basically is a very well-known Japanese film director who passed away recently. He won a lot of awards. They had a special logo for him in the UK and other international properties, but not on Google.com. You can look at our March 24th post at SERoundtable.com to see that logo. In addition, Google Israel had a special logo for what they call, what is basically the first transmission of it into Israeli educational television, which was on March 24th, 1966. It was a cute little doodle with educational cartoon characters. Again, you can see that on March 24th at SERoundtable.com. Finally, since I'm big into these YouTube stuff, YouTube has allowed me to offer rentals, meaning I could charge for you to watch this video, and you would pay a rental fee for renting this video to watch it for X amount of dollars, for X amount of time to watch this video. I'm not sure if I'll go that route. We currently have ads in them from Google, but it's pretty interesting to see, so I wrote a whole post about it on March 22nd. And if you want to see how that works, you can see March 22nd at SERoundtable.com exactly how a publisher could set up rentals and what the options are for the various rentals. So that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. Today is Friday, March 26th. Thanks for listening, and we will see you hopefully next week. I will be out and offline 2 days this week due to Passover, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll probably schedule some posts that go live, but will be lighter, and hopefully anybody celebrating Passover has a nice, healthy, and happy Passover. Everyone have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you next.